Well, hello YouTube channel. It's Belmont here on this crisp, chilly Western Pennsylvania morning. So, I was doing a little digging recently, and I also dug out my Logitech controller, which is the F310. And I was trying to figure out how to hook it up to, well, my Pandora Box. And one, if you notice these little buttons right here, you have X-axis and D. Well, I have it selected D, and I have control and range of most of the buttons, at least on some of the games. You got the A, B, X, Y, and you got the L1, L2, R1, R2. Now, for some of the games on here, like for PlayStation, it does require the 8-button setup, but the 8-button setup does not always recognize on this Pandora Box. I've gotten the L1 button to work for a few of the arcade games on, well, PlayStation. One in particular, Rival Schools, the arcade mode, where I have L1 working. Now, if I go to play anything on the SNES or Super Famicom, apparently my L button doesn't work, which I find odd. The L button actually is worked on for PSP games. So the controller is a bit of a mixed bag. And get it to go the control pad. And I still have the option of using, well, this arcade stick. And I can scroll through the games, no problem. And the controller is plugged into the second USB port. And that's an important thing to mention, because if you are looking at a Pandora video, or Pandori, as I've seen it on YouTube, they don't really tell you that. They'll recommend the Logitech controller and the Xbox 360 controller, but they don't give you a whole lot of information on what it will use and what buttons it will sync up with. And I'd like to point out that this Logitech controller was gifted to me by the Gamemasters Realm in Ambridge, Pennsylvania, by its owner, Brian. And the controller sat gathering dust for a while. And it wasn't for lack of trying. I just really didn't know what was going on with the controller until I saw a few comments saying, plug it into the bottom USB port, and it gives you the first player control. which is good. I might be picking up a brand new one in the future to see if it's just, well, a goof where this controller only does so much, or will a second controller also do the exact same thing? Now, you can go into key settings and you can look at where it says generic Xbox pad. It registers, yes. And I'll show you all this. And you can even go up to that, and you can actually see and redefine the keys for, well, the 6-button layout. And it's funny because if you go to this part, it shows you what looks like an Xbox One controller, which I thought was funny. Look how it has for the first toggle. It's saying Angel, and then says reserved for the other one. Kind of odd, right? You're not going to find, a strict, proper setup for this. It is a mixed bag, and that's including playing the arcade games, because some arcade games are 3-button, being the top 3 buttons here, like Ghostbusters, for example, the arcade. When the Logitech is plugged in, I've had to mash the Y and B button to activate as one button. So you're going to find that out in a hurry if you're playing with a controller plugged into your Pandora Box. And the Pandora person or persons, whoever, will try and hand you a load of Greek salad in the comments. If you ask, well, what controller will work, and they'll say, well, you're going to have to give me the specifics. You're going to have to give me some more details. Like, we need to know what numbers are on it or whatever. Well, here's the numbers on my Pandora Box. And here's the numbers on the back of the controller. So it very much helps to get out the right information to people. And if a YouTube channel that promotes the use of controllers, but then says it's only for specific Pandora boxes, take it with a grain of salt and do a little bit of extra research on your own. You might just find the difference in basic comments. So, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. It's a little long, sorry about that. But I wanted to get this out there. And for those watching who also use their Pandora Box like Alan, I hope this helps too. So this is Belmont saying, have a good weekend, enjoy your day, and stick around.